What's up guys, thanks for watching another video. I got an exciting one for you guys today. Today we are doing the BC Racing coilovers for the Cruze. So I got these things in the back here, or at least one of them. But I bought these used off of some guy in Illinois. He was selling them for $300, only had them on the car for one summer. So it was a killer deal, had to jump on it. So we're gonna get these things installed. I'm gonna try to do a detailed video on how to do it, but we'll see how it goes. And I got my boy Jordan coming out to help me out because I'm a bit of a noob, but we'll see how it goes. Let's do it. All right, first things first, I gotta jack the car up. There's a jack point here and there, and we're gonna do the rears first. So you just jack up the car here, get it high enough to put the rear jack stand in, and we'll do that to both sides, and then the car will be lifted up so we can get access to everything. All right, future Tyler speaking here. I did a horrible job recording the rear, and I apologize for that. I'm going to link a fellow Cruze member's video down below who actually did a good job explaining the rear. So, you guys can watch that to know how to do the rear. I'm going to kind of explain a little bit here in the next clip on how to do it, but just prefacing that I did a horrible job recording, and there will be a better job recording the front since I'm editing it and I know it is better. So let's get back to the video. So yeah, once you get the car on a jack stand, both sides, then you can take off your wheel and you can get access to the strut. Now, my car actually has the Z-Link suspension, so I have these two cross members, one on this side, one on the other side, for the Z-Link suspension. So not every Cruze is going to have that suspension set up. But anyways, if you do have that, it is a 21mm bolt there, and then obviously the strut is with a 21mm bolt as well. And then you got two bolts up here that are 14mm for the top hat of the rear strut. And so what you got to do is you got to reuse the top hat from the stock strut on the aftermarket strut. So in this case we got BC Racing coilovers. We're going to reuse the top hat on those, or reuse the top hat on the stock strut for those BC Racing coilovers. And to do that, there is a bolt at the top. See if I can pull the stock struts to show you guys. So you got a bolt on the top right there, as you can see, and you got to somehow clamp on to the strut itself, because that bolt will tighten and then the strut will rotate. So you gotta use, like, I don't know, we use vice grips, and we just vice gripped onto this and held it so we could rotate the bolt and get it off. So once you do that, then you can do the springs as well. Springs are easy. You have your stock, like, rubber mount here. You have one on the top and the bottom. And then in my case, BC Racing gave me sort of a smaller rubber piece to go over top of that, because obviously these springs are a little bit smaller in diameter, so they need to sit correctly on those rubber pieces. So we got that piece up on the top and on the bottom as well. And then right there, you guys can see that's the adjustment for spring rate. Spring rate? Rebound? I can't remember. Anyways, that gives you your adjustment there. And then obviously on the coilover itself, you have your dampening adjustment here. Now, when we put these on, we did full soft because my buddy Jordan, he has a set of, or he did have a set for his 350Z, and he ran full soft, and that was pretty good because obviously these coilovers are pretty aggressive. So the fronts, since I bought them used, the guy who shipped them to me used just like pretty flimsy box. Didn't really put a bunch of packing in it, and the brake line mount is slightly bent. So I'm gonna work on bending that back before my buddy Jordan comes back and we work on the fronts. So I'm gonna do that right now. Alright, so now I'm going to start on the fronts. It's just me and my dad today. But yeah, we're going to get it done. So I'm going to jack up the front here, and I put PB Blaster on some of the bolts that we're going to be taking off. And I'll show you guys how to do it. And if not, then this is just going to be a time lapse, and yeah. Alright, so we got the sway bar end links loose here. What you got to do is you got to take a T40, stick it in the middle, and take a wrench, and you just get this bolt loose while you're holding the T40 still. Because if you don't have a T40 in there, you're just going to turn everything together. Obviously, take the brake line out of the bracket. And then we loosened up these bolts. So these are all ready to come out. These are 18 mil, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then what we'll have to do now is take out the strut, and once we get the strut out, I got spring compressors. I didn't want to have to use spring compressors, and so I bought these top hats, but the only problem is they didn't come with the bolt that holds the top hat to the strut. So regardless, I gotta use spring compressors to get the nut off of the old strut to use on the coilovers. So I'm gonna do another time lapse. We're taking out the struts, and then maybe I'll record a little bit with us using the spring compressors and getting the nut off of those to use on the coilovers. So let's get to it. Alright, so we got the front coilover in on the driver's side, and so here's what it looks like. The torque spec on these two bolts are 66. This is 48 for the stabilizer end link. And you got a bolt below this that holds the top hat onto the actual coilover. That's 48 foot-pounds, and this one is 52 foot-pound. So torque that to 52, and yeah, that's pretty much it for putting in the front coilovers. So we are gonna now move on to the passenger side. I'm not gonna show you guys that. I'll just do that myself, and then we'll get the LTZ wheels that I got, the 18-inch LTZ wheels. I'll put those on, and then we'll finally have the car on the ground and we'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, here we go. This thing looks really good.